All right. We are live. Welcome back, Baloo. What a day. What a day. Never a dull moment in crypto. Welcome along, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well as always.
Yep. You're always got a smile on. We love that. Unfortunately, we went into hardcore lockdown here in New Zealand today, not allowed to leave the house. The Delta variant finally arrived to piss on
For
the
the
parade.
what wave are we on now? Wave 16? I don't know. The
Thank God
16th
I've got
wave.
crypto. Thank God I got crypto, Baloo. And thank God we've got this great community. It's looking like an online life, isn't it?
Yep. More and more so. It's a good little batch of training we're all being forced to do.
Yeah, totally. Obviously, speaking of online lives, the gaming space continues to boom. I've just got off a really good interview with the growth lead and one of the founders from Axie Infinity. So we'll obviously be having a look at those charts and sharing our thoughts with you all on how Axie is progressing and play to earn in general. The full interview will be posted tomorrow, but yeah, stay with us today, people. And obviously, the whole point of being live is we want your questions, interact with us. So, we're here to help. Anything you got, start throwing them down. But Baloo, I woke up at a silly hour this morning, and the market was tanking. I put in a short on BYBIT. If you are an experienced trader, you want to support what we're doing here, it's all for free. Please use our link below if you are a trader. But yeah, I shorted the market, got out of that trade because I had to go out for 10 minutes, and probably a good move because the market's pumped again. What the hell's going on? I'll hand it over to you. Let's look at the charts.
Yeah, let's start out as I like to do, and that is on Bitcoin here. Let me just get my screen share.
Big Daddy, the itty bitty, the bitty.
Big Daddy Bitcoin. So we're looking in this kind of general area. We were looking for, you can see my screen, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, so we had this area of the resistance right here, which was kind of the area of the original breakdown here, where we had a little bit of supply come in and then we fully broke down here. So I was looking at this area for this to happen, where we would come up to the area of the resistance and find our reversal. So we are reversing as kind of anticipated. And what's interesting is the fact that we are reversing short of the level that I've been looking at. So when we're looking at kind of bullish and bearish support and resistance, when you overtake a resistance and you come back down to test support and you test it at the highest possible test, meaning like you don't come down as far as everybody thinks you're going to, it's very bullish. Now, the inverse is true when we are looking at an area. So there was a lot of people looking at this general area. We failed to make it to that area. So we'll need to test this one a few more times before we can have an attempt to break through. But a analog chart that I've been looking at, to making many comparisons on, is this area right here. I'm just going to zoom into this area. This was the DeFi summer, right down in this general zone right here. So very similar in its structure, where we had a kind of a distributional consolidation on top. We had a very large shakeout event. We had a accumulation with a rally. The rally concluded up against a resistance kind of near the underside of the previous consolidation right here. So this kind of general area right here, tapped resistance, failure back down to the area of the consolidation before reaccumulating and giving another attempt to break through that resistance point. So I would not be surprised to see something similar play out for what we're seeing today. Let me just get back to where we are today and kind of break down what I just explained there. So we're in this, we broke out of this area of the consolidation. The area underneath of the distribution is kind of where we've been met with some resistance. And so we could be looking at anywhere in this kind of general zone and still be relatively healthy, in my opinion. So anywhere from 30, as low as 36. I don't personally think that we'll go there, but you know, my opinions don't really matter. These markets can move plus or minus several points beyond expectation. But I am expecting a little bit of a test. We're going to have to scare some people. A lot of people talking about this area in terms of a dead cat bounce. Typically with a dead cat bounce, you'll have a severe shakeout and an immediate bounce. We actually spent some time accumulating, and the characteristics are not showing me that this is a dead cat bounce. Not to mention this sign of strength move. I am very bullish on that move. So this is all kind of pieces of the puzzle that I've more or less been expecting. I don't make predictions on my channel. I don't, that's just not something that I lean into too hard, but I was expecting some supply to come in at this area. But what's really interesting is it wasn't a ton of supply that came in. If we take a look at the volume signatures, what is more prevalent is if, you know, during this rally, oops. Oh, getting all screwed up here. During the rally, what we saw more of was demand. So during the rally, if we're looking at the volume, you know, we saw a lot of demand come in. Let me just mark that demand. And then the demand kind of evaporated. It just fell off a cliff. There's no more. We got up to the resistance, no more demand. Now we're not seeing a ton of supply either. So although the price is falling, it's not institutional selling. It's just an inability for investors to carry the price through the resistance. So I'm still very bullish on this consolidation. Now I can remain bullish and be down at $36,000. So, you know, depending on your trading strategy, depending on your method, and again, nothing here is financial advice. The range is anywhere from $36,000 to $42,000. I give my ranges a lot of breathing room for my expectation, but that's what I'm kind of looking for. So short term, little bit of a pullback. Market's probably going to overreact and say that this is confirming some sort of dead cat bounce, or this is confirming some sort of bull trap. I'm going to hold my position a little bit stronger. And all in the meanwhile, at the same time, we're seeing a lot of random altcoins pump. So this is also kind of typical of a trend reversal. Retail is very much so in control at this stage of the market. If we're following previous market cycles and previous, you know, historical price cycles for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, if we are to continue this next leg up, it's going to be the most exuberant and irrational leg of the bull market, historically speaking. So we're seeing a lot of participation from retail, and we're seeing a lot of random stuff pump. Now, what had been concerning me and why I haven't been posting a lot in my VIP group is a lot of this stuff is falling on very low volume. So that's to me showing like name a couple coins, you know, pick your coin that we want to take a look at here. I got DOT ready to go, but DOT didn't really pump. You know what did pump? But I think that's for different reasons. I'll pull it up because it's just sticking out.
Yeah, look, I'll throw my 2 cents worth in audio. I saw you talking about this the other day. We're actually going to get Jesse to fundamentally analyze this on tomorrow's show. He's a music producer. He's been networking with this community, so it'll be fascinating to hear what he has to say from a actual use case point of view. But yeah, this was one hell of a pump off the back of that TikTok news, which you kind of thought might have been overstated. Have you looked into that a bit more?
I have, and I do maintain that posture that you know, we're overpricing audio at this point. Now, this news caused me to go and take a look at some of the fundamentals, and I would love to be on that show if you'll have me with Jesse, so we can have kind of a back and forth. But I do think that it is currently overvalued. But the point I was trying to make is just the volume. So typically when you have large price appreciations, this probably isn't the best example because we have a ton of volume on the news, but we see some of these other assets, like I'm just trying to think off the top of my head here. I should have had something prepared. Let's take a look at
AMP.
What's another one that AMP? No, one that's been doing well.
Well, hang on, we've got Mr. Gonzo joining us. I'll tag in the other Canadian.
All right. I'm just drawing a blank here. Let's take a look at Cardano.
Cardano, your favorite.
Okay, so this is a fantastic example because when you make comparisons against other assets, the demand is very different. Now, the demand on Cardano is very low. Now, what's interesting about analyzing the price spread and the volume is it's very contextual and it can kind of tell a story. So a lot of people think that money in equals price up, and that's not true. What actually dictates the price of an asset is the order book and how many people are willing to part with their positions versus how many people are starving to get a position. That's supply and demand. It's not money in and money out. So when the order book is marking things up very quickly on low volume, what that's telling you, typically speaking, is it's retail-based investment. It is the fact that Cardano holders aren't selling and people are FOMOing in. So this kind of brings a little bit of apprehension for me because I always worry about sustainability. The number one thing that you could be looking at for the success and duration of your trade is how much volume is coming in and how consistent the volume is coming in. So if you see a nice, continuous, gradual increase of the daily trading activity on that asset, it's true price appreciation in terms of what the market is seeing, and we're actually getting that true value discovered. That price discovery is happening organically and naturally and not on the back of FOMO and anticipation of news. So it's definitely popcorn season. Popcorn season, this is not a phrase I coined. This is something I got from another YouTuber. And it refers to kind of that in-between point where Bitcoin is showing the market is kind of, bullish, and then we're getting a lot of retail traders getting over exuberant in illiquid assets and pumping the price up. So it's very random. I don't think we're in altcoin season yet. We're in popcorn season. Good luck trying to trade popcorn season because it's completely random. I think we're going to have one last shakeout, one kind of drawdown, one little moment where everybody's going to question their positions. And then I think we're going to see the real serious players.
Baloo, we get that. We will get that for a very long time, especially while crypto is unregulated. I think we both know that the leverage exchanges play a huge part in the price of this asset. I looked at the long short ratio. If you bring up that BTC chart again, that pump that we had from down the bottom there from low 40s, the market was massively short. So, that's effectively what fueled that move up. There's got to be that fuel for these big moves. And at the moment, this morning when I looked at it, 65% of Binance is the one I like to look at. It's where most of the retail plays. 65% were long. And I saw low volume. I saw the price dip in. I'm like, damn, I'm shorting this. It was a scalp trade. I did well on it. We're moving back up now, but it does concern me that so many people are still long. Is there going to be
a flush out?
There? Yeah, I agree.
I think there's going to be one more little kind of spank. The glimmer of
Mr. Gonzo, welcome along.
Yo,
hey Gonzo, how's it going?
Not bad. How about you guys? It's very good. Meetings and just had to eat. Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah, no problem. We've just finished the chat with the one of the founders, growth lead of Axie. So we'll obviously look at those charts in a moment. But any thoughts on what we've discussed so far? I don't know whether you've been listening in or are you just joining us now?
I just got a couple minutes, but I don't know. I just keep every time I see the Bitcoin chart, I just think of what happened in that last 2018. I just keep seeing the same thing. It's like, whoa, this is looking creepy, eerily the same, where
you're talking about this area down here, the DeFi summer kind of, that was 2020.
From run up to 20K and then the bleed out to 3-4K, right? And how long that took, right? And it was the same. It just feels the same, right? I don't know. I've been through it, man. I've been through it. That was a crazy,
you joined at the start of it.
Bitcoin doesn't make any sense how it moves sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
doesn't.
defies logic, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just reinforces my like, just keep accumulating and don't trade, especially intraday. So
yeah, it's very difficult. Intraday, you know, I'm doing the longer swings. I find much more success with that in crypto.
yeah,
If you're a day trader, honestly and truly, like there is lots of opportunity in the equity market for you to be a day trader. And what's nice about that is, you know, there's an open and a close, so you can go to bed.
yeah.
Crypto is very different.
It seems like even well with crypto and regular trading, you got to find your niche, right? Like
Yeah.
your little area that you know and you can play it really well. And like when I was trading, it was like I followed 4 or 5 coins and I knew them really well. Like, okay, this is gonna
Right.
dump, sell, buy, you know, and then you just follow a couple projects and really nail those instead of trying to trade everything, right? Because
Yeah.
crypto stuff moves so differently. Like,
Yeah.
Moving differently, guys. Do you think we're starting to see the main cryptos move independently of each other a bit more than usual? I mean, obviously, it's always been whatever Bitcoin did. We've had those outliers in XRP and Stellar, which always sort of seem to move counter to the rest of the market from at least 216, 217. Thoughts on that?
yes. Look at
Go ahead,
AXS and SLP.
Right.
They move independently of Bitcoin, right? Like
Yeah.
they don't move based on Bitcoin movements. They move based on fundamentals from the community, right? Like,
Yeah.
so some and it's major, right? Like you look at the ETH fees and like the size of the economy that it's generating, like it's pretty major. So I would say, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. There's definitely a decoupling in that ecosystem. It's been noticeable for a while, but in terms of kind of the natural, you know, predictable cycles that we hear about, like Bitcoin moves first, then it's large caps, then it's mid caps, then it's small caps. I don't see that so much anymore. I see more so of a risk on environment where it's a lot of the new stuff that is hyped that moves first. And kind of what's been interesting in the last 2 years as far as an altcoin cycle indicator is Doge going. When Doge goes, it's risk on. So, you know, now that Bitcoin is at the prices that it's not attracting retail at all. It's really not. And it's also not required to do altcoin trading like it was in the previous cycle. So very different this cycle, at least from where we are today compared to where we are, you know, structurally speaking, in the last cycle. But yeah, Axie's doing its own thing, and that's because it truly is its own thing. It's running independent on a new set of rules. Hey, we're not speculating anymore. You can actually assign value to this stuff.
Well, and it's, you know, it's working like a utility token, AXS, right?
Yeah.
SLP is a utility token, but there's market factors outside of it, but those aren't the driving factors, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've asked you this many times. Can you chart that coin? I mean, should we have a look at that chart to what degree?
SLP is becoming easier to chart. And I can't really, you know, it's still kind of a wonky chart overall, but it is getting a little bit more predictable. And, you know, honestly, right now, I don't like the chart. You know, we're in a pretty well-defined and established downtrend in terms of SLP. I think some sort of move has to happen. I know that there's been some rumors where the cost to breed is going to go up. So I think when we compare the new SLP minting with an adjustment to the SLP required for breeding, we might see a demand, much like we saw when the price was doubled for the AXS token. That's what kind of sparked it off for a large move. But we're in a downtrend. So, you know, SLP, I don't really like. I have a lot of my scholars asking me if it's going to go back up.
Pretty
At
ugly.
this point, I say, yeah, you have two options. You either hold for many months, or you sell it when you get it. So, you know,
or you breed.
It's
Mr. Gonzo, our audience is very familiar with you, but for people that maybe haven't seen this before, you live and breathe this project. What are your thoughts on the price of SLP, AXS? Obviously, we've just got off a call with Jiho from Axie. We'll be posting that video Friday morning. But give us your thoughts.
Reminds me of the last cycle it did this, you know, like it was 10 cents, 12 cents, 15 cents. It would get up there. People like, yeah. And then it had a dip down where it rode to 5 cents for a long time. People like, oh no, because he's done. What are we going to do? But you know what? The players kept playing. The players kept playing. They kept earning, right? Some, if they were desperate, they had to sell. But, you know, we try and teach them, like, you know, when it's green, you sell. When it's red, you buy. But because SLP, you're not actually buying it, it's the same. You just keep doing your hours every day. It's like dollar cost averaging. And then it's just a matter of when you sell it, right? Like since the scholarship thing, when it went to over like 35 cents, I'm like, okay, I'm selling a bunch, right? And then under 25 cents, I'm like, I'm not interested in selling, right? So if it breaks over that, I'll probably sell some, take some profits, and then use for breeding, and then cash out some profits to like sustain. But I mean, I try and time it so that I don't need to like cash out SLP at a certain time. You know, you just have your stash going and you use it when it's good, or you sell it when it goes up, and you breed when it's down.
Yeah. Baloo, what are your thoughts? I mean, you've obviously sort of divot on in there into the scholarship model with Axie. What's your current thinking? Are you looking to expand that, or are you concerned about anything?
Well, I've reached my goal. I had a personal goal of 40 teams. I got my 40 teams. I'm going to, you know, transition out of the risk. You know, I want to kind of capitalize on some of the gains. So, you know, I'll probably sell some at these levels, considering that we are in a downtrend. But I don't think that you know, Axie is over by any means, and I do think that the SLP token will have an opportunity to turn around. I won't be selling on the uptrend. You know, I'll take profits on some up thrusts and some, you know, some strong upside moves. But for right now, I'm still kind of just de-risking and accumulating.
I think from a fundamental point of view, you know, obviously, I don't see a realistic challenger to this game at the moment.
No. At the moment, I see nothing. You know, and people are very lost on what it is that makes Axie special. I think there's a few key things that I think are very important. There's the fact that the currency is separate from the governance token. I think that that's very unique, and both are separate from the underlying wrapped Ethereum that you use in the marketplace. And the ease of use to hand over your NFTs to a scholar for you to play is also very unique. I have not seen anything come close.
Mr. Gonzo, thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, when we interviewed Jeho, that's what he was talking about. It's all about product, right? And that's why they capitalized. They figured out a product where they could have this model with a scholarship. You know, the QR code, it's so essential, right? The playing account is separated from the token wallet account, right? So that really is like a breakthrough thing. And it still seems like every other play to earn project is still struggling with that, because, you know, I get calls and tweets and chats and stuff, people asking me like, oh, you know, what's going on play to earn, and how do we, like, companies, like bigger companies have crypto blockchain infrastructure set up, but they're still not sure on how to really like capture that play to earn and where the mechanics are, even in their own games, you know. But it's all super creative now. It's going to come down what to the devs can do, right? Like technically what's possible, and then just like silly creative ways, like, you know, you can tag your character with a name for 5 SLP, or you can, like, you know, just trade stuff. And there's just it's a game, right? Like, it's the whole economy can be gamified. So any little thing that you can build into it will help build the utility of the tokens inside the ecosystem. So it's, I mean, yeah, it's a crazy time right now, is all I can say, because we're literally building our own little countries. Like, you know, you got Baloo land there, you got your 10 people, they're generating money, they're contributing, right? And they're growing, right? Hopefully your scholars, you know, they're taking SLP profits, they're reinvesting it into other cryptos, or buying their own teams for their family to play, or whatever they're doing. So they're not just like grinding away, and they're able to get ahead and start investing heavier, just so that it'll set them up longer term, right? Instead of just playing for a minute, right? So
yeah.
Real estate in the real world is becoming very, very expensive, and this earth isn't getting any bigger. So, you know, opening up real estate into the metaverse, although a very, very foreign idea, is proving itself to be a feasible idea. The metaverse is going to literally, for lack of a better term, open up physical space for the internet.
But it's great. Axie is doing the opposite. I had another scholar send me pictures of them breaking ground on their plot of land. Like, we start building now, boss. It's like, yeah, like they're building their own house, man, on their own land. Like, that's amazing. Like, such a crazy story. The mom's playing, her mother, her brother, and stuff, like the whole family. So they're like generating enough as a family playing Axie to build their own house.
Is that the family that you guys had on a few months back?
No, this is like the fourth family that's doing this.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So, it's all different progression and how many people in the family are on the scholarship. And,
did you hear about the 12-year-old kid, Baloo, that has made millions?
No, I haven't actually.
I
limit my amount of news for the most part.
So very briefly, this kid was playing Axie last year. He the figure I've heard was a couple of grand, which he sold for ETH on Uniswap. He then got the Uni airdrop, so obviously made some cash out of that. And then from there, I believe where did he invest it? He put it into, he bought AXS, 12 cents.
But his dad is like one of the biggest guys in Axie, right? So it's not like he would just found this himself and like had this plan.
Right.
He had a lot of
ruins the story when you say that.
I know, but you got to get to the root of it, man. You told the same story, and Stefano was like, on the other show, Stefano didn't like it, and I'm kind of with him. Like the way that they're hyping it, it's like 12-year-old makes $1 million. It's like we're getting into dangerous territory when we start propagating that kind of stuff.
Well, we're not look. The reality is on our channel, we've made for well over a year now. It's all been about trying to show people how you can make money in this space without actually having to invest. So for me, that was the impetus to share that story, and it can be done. Yep. You got to get lucky. You got to put the time in. Pick the right projects, but you don't need to come to crypto with a huge amount of capital. You always hear that adage, the rich getting richer. I think this space right now offers that opportunity where you don't need to be rich. You just got to be diligent and invest the time. That's what we're trying to educate our community on. You don't need to, obviously this is a trading show. So it's a
little bit. Are you trading NCG, WNCG?
No, I didn't even, I've been really kind of out of the loop on that one. Just
did you sign up to that game?
I did, but I have a Mac, so because I haven't been able to play.
If you did any of the signups, right, and you earned any of it at the beginning, like it's worth like $500 now. It touched $6 per coin, right? And they were giving out like 20 just to sign up, right? Create a character, you get another 50, right? So there was a fair bit of a value put into that project with that miso.
Yeah. On that note, our NCG winners we're going to update our Discord on how we'll distribute that.
Nice chart.
Yeah, it's pretty new. Pretty new.
That's not surprising at all. Exactly as I would have predicted. Like, holy shit, everything's worth $6.
Well, interestingly, we asked Geo, the growth leader of Axie, what other games he rated highly in the space, and this was the one he said.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. So, what are the charts? Should we have a look at ETH?
Yeah, let's take a look at ETH.
ETH.
Yeah, so, like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm not convinced on a lot of the movements of the altcoins. I feel as though, they're all just following Bitcoin right now. And it creates this very hard to trading environment. If you are doing shorter term trades, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you just stick with Bitcoin. Just because the predictability is going to be a little bit better, because when Bitcoin's leading, it creates a very hard altcoin environment to trade in, because Bitcoin will move up, the alts will lag, then they'll start to move, and then Bitcoin will tear them back down. So the alts lagging behind Bitcoin's movement, it never catches up, and then Bitcoin, when Bitcoin moves down, everything moves down. So it'll tear it down. But yeah, I do like some of the structure that we're seeing here. Ethereum looks good structurally speaking. I'm just not seeing the demand that I would like to see inside of the volume, at least not here on FTX. Another one that's doing all right is FTT token, kind of in the same sort of general area. This is on a smaller time frame, but they're structurally everything's looking good. FTX token, FTT token actually looks better as far as market participation with this token seems to be better. I'm not sure what is really driving that, because its competitor is BNB token, but you use BNB token to operate on the Binance Smart Chain, whereas FTX does not have that.
The whole Solana ecosystem of which this sort of has its big link is just on fire at the moment.
Yeah, so Solana is looking fantastic. Solana is one of the few coins that has actually broken through its all-time high. Let's go over to that. And some of that is due to the fact that they had an NFT project. So the NFT projects are actually starting to get quite popular on the Solana blockchain. And one is kind of a copycat of Jesse's Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT project that kind of sent this thing mooning. But, regardless of the reasons, people are buying Solana because they need it to participate in the next hot NFT market. Yeah. The NFT, the $1 million JPEGs, that weird market that seems to coexist right now with the rest of the market is getting very, very hot, and people are chasing the NFTs big time. So hard to say how long that'll go on for and what will be next, but the demand for the Solana token is very, very strong.
I got a good story about this coin. Can you zoom out a bit there?
Yep.
On the chart so we can see like April.
Yeah.
April of this year.
Yep.
That's last year,
this
right?
year.
Yeah. That's when I told my mom to buy some.
Where is it? Oh, nice.
So she'll be happy now, because like she has a crypto.com wallet, right? And she doesn't really know anything about it. So I give her a list of like 3 or 4 coins. I just tell her DCA,
Yeah.
So this was on here. AXS was on there. AXS was back in like February, March, early time,
That was a good one.
Yeah. So she's all like, ooh, she got
Does
some
Mummy Gonzo watch this show? Is she about to see you tell her off publicly?
Actually, I've never actually asked her if she's watched the show or not. It's on a crazy time zone right now, right? It's the middle of the night in Canada. And man, Canada's burning. Kelowna.
I saw that picture you posted, man. Are your family near that?
Yeah, our house is like where that picture was taken, basically is where our house is. Like a block up from that beach is our house. You
got a screen share of that?
Oh, I think it's all my WhatsApp on my phone. Where was it? But yeah.
Terrible.
Canada burning. And I mean, it's the same as California.
Yeah,
like get the seasonal fires every year, but this year is extra bad. The crazy weather going on all over the world. I hear people talking about the weather's getting extreme, right? Just one more thing to pile on the 2020s.
Yeah.
Oh no, 19 is when it started, but it's turning into a decade of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And miscellaneous other things, aliens. There's so much more chatter about aliens and like UFOs and like, disclosure and stuff happening.
Sky's the limit these days.
Yeah. Oh, I totally bring it on. I mean, nothing anymore. It's just fucked. Okay, sorry, we got sidetracked there with fires and alien, but so Solana, I mean, what's going? I got into this one early, sold it way too early. It's a little bit, it's not a permission blockchain, but it's got its place.
It's trying to take its place.
I think
I would probably be buying some, but
don't bet against Sam, right? The same way you don't bet against CZ, right? You might not ethically.
It's definitely a better finance smart chain, that's for sure.
Yeah, like the technology is better.
Scammy.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like not just straight up copy paste.
Interesting.
Not just a straight copy paste. Change the color.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's interesting. I'm getting more and more bullish on Polkadot. I just don't think it's ready for this cycle, but I am, diving into kind of the fundamentals of, scaling. And I think Polkadot and, Kasama, their testnet, the one that's been, really performing, doing much better than Polkadot.
What's on that blockchain that any of us have actually used, though?
I'm more interested in the scaling solutions it's going to offer for Ethereum. So just being able to take some of the workload off of Ethereum, easily bridge, the projects haven't even been built yet. Like Polkadot's got nothing on it right now, but I do like the idea of parachains and the parachain auction because it comes with baked in legitimacy. Like anybody can launch shitty tokens on Binance Smart Chain, but when you have to invest a ton of money to get one of these parachain slots, right there, it kind of, to me at least, shows that you're serious. Shows that you're looking long term.
And you're locking. If it's the same as Kasama, you got to lock up those coins for a year, which obviously decreases the supply. So, But
just being able to get the slot in the parachain, that's what the auctions are all about. Like those are insane amounts of money. So like you don't have slimy people coming in to like bid on a parachain auction.
They want free money. They don't want to put money in.
Yeah, exactly.
Cheap as possible to get as much money as possible.
There's some legitimacy just to kind of the process of that parachain auction. But, its performance, Polkadot specifically, Kasama's been doing very well. But Polkadot's performance has been lackluster at best, really. But interesting nonetheless. We can actually take a look at those ones.
I like Polkadot.
Let's take a look
one
at
of my crypto fundamental bags, I think. I have it up there with Bitcoin, ETH, Link, Dot.
What percentage of your portfolio have you got on Polkadot, Mr. Gonzo?
Exactly, I don't know, but it's probably 5th biggest bag.
Oh, really? Okay.
It came out of the gate way too hot and fast for me to even pay attention to it. That's often how I am with new projects. If everybody's talking about it, I'm already too late. Now that was happening at lower prices, but now I'm kind of taking a look at things and trying to at least become aware about what I should be looking for, when things kind of cool down a little bit. I'm not looking for any of these new positions right now, but the fundamentals of this project are very, very strong, and scaling is something that is near and dear to my heart. I think, we're not going to get rid of ETH. You got to work with ETH, and anything that helps assist that is going to be really good.
This is probably one of my biggest, like the one that got away, KSM.
Kasama,
I got bullish on both of them at the same time. I'm not super techy, but I understood the tech and the proposition that it was offering, right? And how it was like the interoperability between all the networks and like the backing behind it and the team. And I was like, this is like long term. I'm just going to accumulate this, right? And they originally it was like 300 a token or something like that, and then they did a split by 100, right? And it listed at like $1 or $2 or something, I think. And then I got in at like $3, and then I just rode it all the way up. And then while I was doing that, I was looking at Kusama, and I'm like, oh, Kusama, it's so cheap. It's like $5. Oh, but it's gonna go back to 350. And looked at it for another week, and then it just went, Bwah! And it never came back. And now I feel like I can't touch it. I'm bitten by that one, KSM.
Yeah, that is. I think Baloo has the same feelings with Matic.
And sometimes you just got to let things go. And I'm happy that Matic exists, and I'm happy that Matic is offering scaling solutions to Ethereum. And I'm not going to talk about my emotions for how I'm not a participant in that.
Well, I mean, maybe we should talk about our emotions with trading, because it is, to me, that's the key thing to any sort of successful trading. I mean, we've all got that project where you just can't bear it. I know for Mr. Gonzo, it's uni.
Did you hear that story, Baloo?
No.
Well,
let's bring up the chart while he tells us.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, Uni's another one that kind of pissed me off because I missed their airdrop.
Oh, wait till you hear Mr. Gonzo's story.
A day.
That's Sean, that is Sean's exact story. He got 1 instead of 3 because he missed it by a day, right?
Like hours.
I didn't get any. I didn't get any. But
so I got,
yeah.
I got Sean onto
let's go to
Uniswap
Uni.
here, right? We kicking and screaming. He was like, I want to get into altcoins and stuff. Let's do an altcoin show, right? So this is when Uniswap is popping off, and I've been using it, trading it, like all these crazy scams popping up. Stuff's going like 50% or 50x, like in 3 days and shit like that, right? So I was doing lots of trading on there and ended up with 7 wallets, right? Because
wow, nice
airdrops and all that stuff, right? And I blocked the details out now, but I don't remember exactly how many it was. What was it per wallet? You got like 100.
I think it was,
you got 400. I thought it was
400.
400 uni tokens.
Yes, it was 400. It was 400.
Okay.
So then, like 7 wallets.
What's that at today's price?
$30.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let me get out the old calculator.
So when we
we'll just call it 25 times 400 times 7 wallets. That's 70 grand.
Fuck.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, but then continuing with the degeneracy of getting all the free uni and all that other stuff, all these other scams are popping up, and I provided some liquidity to a rather dodgy project, doing some LP farming. They were accepting uni, and you do the click throughs, all the things, right? And then at the end, 2 weeks later or so, I look at my wallet, they're all gone, all my unis. So I signed a permission on a site that was totally irreputable, and it even made the news, actually, because it's a big website thing, and I was in one of the lists of the guys. It happened to a bunch of people where they just pulled all the funds all at the same time, sent them all to a mixer, and then they all just disappeared. So
on that note, quickly, people, just very, very quickly, speaking of scams, there's one going around from Mist, which is a gaming token we've looked at on this channel before. I personally know a number of guys who have been burnt today. There's a fake website for buying this token, so just be super careful. Make sure you're going to the correct site for Mist.
This is an important one because Axie and SLP, they've both been listed on Binance Smart Chain, right? So you can trade SLP against BNB and BUSD. But Binance Smart Chain has a lot of airdrop scams. So if you register a wallet there, you will instantly get like tons and tons of tokens. And some of them will even have dollar values. And you look at them and you're like, whoa. And you go to claim them or redeem them, and they will clean out your wallet. Okay. So if there's tokens there that you don't recognize, you got to research it. Make sure 99% of the time it's a scam. So be really careful with that chain and the wallets.
Yeah, I am not a fan of Binance Smart Chain at all. I think that it is a scammer's paradise out there. You do need to be very careful because they're preying upon you. And the fact that Binance Smart Chain has the low gas fees.
Yeah.
Trade less, trade smarter, stay the fuck off of Binance Smart Chain. It is just rife. It is rife with disgusting characters. I have funds on there, and I am always on edge on that blockchain because everything just looks so dirty and slimy.
I remember I had that
feeling
just before Binance Smart Chain came out about uni. I was getting so jaded off about like all the scammers, and everything was such a ripoff, right? And there was just so many bad practices of trying to separate people's money from them, and like people getting greedy and doing it, like, it just brought out the worst, like, and it really caused me to take a break, actually, because it was so disgusting. I just was like, and then it's even worse now on Binance Smart Chain, and like makes uni look nice now. Now you just
it's a tricky one, isn't it, guys? Because obviously we've got this infrastructure bill, which is going to be in the House of Representatives in the US when they all get back from their summer holidays. How that's going to affect crypto with regulation. So listen to us now. On one hand, we hate these scams. There needs to be some sort of protection for people in this market. It's that real balancing act between letting it be an open market. To a large degree, I'm massively in favor of that open market. If you get burnt, that's how you learn. We've all been there, but at the same time, it pains me to see people get ripped off. We've got scammers jumping on our channel now on the regular, trying to deceive our community. It's a pain in the ass.
Isn't that a good time to shout out Shelly? Don't we have some new mods to help us out?
Yes.
Yep. Shout out to them. Woohoo! Scam fighters. That's great. Thank you, girls, ladies, Jazzy, Shelly. Nice.
Thank you. We all need them. Every crypto YouTuber is rife with all these crazy DMs and stuff or messages.
Well, half the crypto YouTubers are the scammers to begin with.
There's that too. There's that too. Yeah, the whole free market thing, you know, it really makes you kind of wonder if investors do need protection because maybe the whole reason that everybody's scammed in cryptocurrency and on Binance Smart Chain is because it's the only place that people are getting away with it. You know, if we had a truly free market in the equities market and the commodities market, I think the general consensus of, or the knowledge of the retail consumer would be much higher because they would go in being like, well, that looks like a scam. That looks like a scam. There's so many scams anywhere you go in the market. I have to be apprehensive of scams. But because we have an equities market and a commodities market that is protected and regulated and, you know, has oversight, the first and only opportunity where, you know, a free market exists and these people can get into other avenues, you have retail investors that aren't savvy because they're used to being protected, and they come here and they're not. So it's kind of interesting, like kind of a, I guess, a chicken and the egg.
Look, you know, there is never a dull moment in this space. You know, we're all in various degrees of different lockdowns here. My country just went into a hard lockdown today. We're not even allowed to leave our homes. You know, it's a fascinating situation where, you know, I look at this headline here. It's the lead story on CoinDesk. I'm trying to set up some friends in Jamaica at the moment with Axie scholarships. You know, that's the things are tough in that country, even without COVID. Let alone the situation they find themselves in. You know, I'm sure that's typical of many of the people watching right now. But, you know, if I look at this headline here, Jamaica's central bank says court order required to track the central bank digital currency. So I've actually had a lot of friends in Jamaica that I've been coaching on crypto. They have had their money sent back when they've been trying to buy crypto. So this is, you know, looking at this headline here, this is what my concern is moving forward when we get these central bank digital currencies, that effectively our privacy is just going to completely disappear. You know, Baloo, you did a fantastic show a week or so ago where, you know, you were talking in terms of a regulated crypto economy and an unregulated one. And I think what, you know, your point was that anyone watching this now, you're in such a great position to be able to straddle both worlds. And, you know, we're doing our best to educate you on this. To me, it looks like that's where we're heading here. You know, Fidelity Investments, which has been a major player in the crypto space, have turned around today and said that 90% of their customers are inquiring about Bitcoin. So I think the future for Bitcoin, I see this thing absolutely mooning, because there's going to be complete clarity around compliance and regulation for these big institutional players out of the US. China's a non-event now for crypto, at least from a legal standpoint of view. I'm hearing left, right, and center that their citizens are still trying to be involved in the crypto space, and of course they should. Their government is saying no. Their government's also trying to stop people playing games in that country as well. So, you know, we're going into a world where, you know, be ahead of the game here. People understand how you can straddle both what you are forced to do, or your government forces or attempts to force you to do, and the various options, and effectively what will be a global parallel economy. I want to be able to trade with people all around the world whenever I want, with you know, with value that I create and they create, and you know, crypto is giving us that. Bitcoin is completely decentralized. They understand they can't stop that now. I want to be able to, you know, do a deal with anybody on this planet whenever I want, instantaneously. That's what we've got with Bitcoin. How Ethereum will look moving forward, let's see. I hope it's a similar scenario to Bitcoin. And who knows what these other cryptos are going to bring to the table as well. You know, on that note, obviously many of our viewers are from the Philippines, where, you know, we're seeing the evolution of the market here. You know, how it will evolve and benefit many of our community, many of whom probably don't have bank accounts. But this space is evolving so quickly now, and the most important thing, it's not financial advice, but it is life advice. Try and stay ahead of the game here, people. Try and spend your day reading up on what's going on. Watch our videos. Get on the internet. Find good sources of information. You can really put yourself light years ahead of everyone else if you're at the forefront here. This is such a big opportunity. It's not going to come along again in our lifetimes, I don't think. If you're in this space now, man, God, you got a great chance. Great chance. Yeah. Thoughts on that one, guys?
I would like to just kind of add a little bit to that in the regards of the investment side. We are on a public platform. We can't say, anything financial. We can't give you financial advice, but I will give you this advice, which is for your financial future. Learn how to use a wallet. Learn how to identify what a transaction looks like as far as like the difference between an Ethereum address, a Bitcoin address, a Cardano address. Learn contract platform. Learn how to, provide liquidity to a automated market maker. And none of, ETH fees aside, a lot of this stuff doesn't require huge amounts of capital investment. But what you're learning is a set of skills that 10 years down the road, you'll be able to charge people and probably even make a business out of, just because you'll know how to do cryptocurrency transactions. That's it. You'll just know how to do transactions. There is a lot of potential here and a lot of opportunity, and it's in your best interest to educate yourself on just how it works, not what coin to buy and how long to hold. How does it work? Yeah. Use it. It's really, really important.
Yeah, very well said. Anything to add to that, Mr. Gonzo?
Yeah, it sounds great. Exactly. Figure out how to use the system, right? And it's totally a game, and there's lots of games going on inside it, but you got to learn the bad games and the good games. Like, there's lots of scams, right? If you're going to get into it, you're going to make a transaction, or like, in my case, a transaction with the wrong website, get burnt for a bit of money. If there's somebody offering you something that's too good to be true, more often than not, it is too good to be true, right? There's all this kind of sugarcoat around it, and hype and shill, and you see it on every level in crypto because of this free market, and playing to people's emotion of like, yeah, I made so much money, like FOMO, like shit starts going bad and people start selling and there's someone waiting to buy it. You just really have to understand human emotions and how they're triggered by like the economy and money. It's a crazy, crazy dynamic. If you can remove emotion from money, people will have a lot nicer life, but it's really, really hard because most people don't have enough that it's constantly a stress, right? So I struggle with that, like trying to make money, but it makes me so stressed out that I don't enjoy what I'm doing, So you got to find that balance of where you can, make gains, but not stress yourself out. And that's why play to earn is so appealing for so many people. You're like, holy shit. Like I'm with the scholars. I'm just grinding, I'm trying to figure out the PvP, right? And you win and you make like 250 a win, right? For like, you're getting 15, 20 SLP, like 12 to 15 at the level that I'm at. And I'm not that great, but you can make 250, like what, just to play a game. Like that's mind blowing. When I was a kid, you had to go and plug quarters into the machine, right? Waste your time, go to the place, wait for them all to open, right? Now, whatever, just play a game, make 250, play another game, make another $50.
Right? And the beauty is now, once when you're in that crypto ecosystem, and obviously we know that many of our scholars are having to cash out and go to fiat to pay their bills and so forth. But once again, we have to keep saying this, not financial advice, but the opportunities to stay in that crypto ecosystem and invest, the fruits of your labor wisely. There's just not a better opportunity to really, really try and set yourself up here quite nicely. You're at the forefront. And I know many of you watching right now are our scholars, etc. But watch the rest of our content as well, and really try and understand the space. Ask us questions. We're here to help. We really are. This is a massive, massive opportunity for all of us. Some smart moves in the next year, you can really get ahead. Now, just quickly, a bit of admin. I sent 3 teams off yesterday. Mr. Gonzo has been extremely helpful in trying to put the best teams together. We've just finished an interview with Jiho. Make sure you check that out in the next couple of days. Our gaming show will be out tomorrow morning. But obviously the situation with it actually is changing. We're always looking to update our teams for the scholars that we can clearly see are putting in the hard time here. And I will have more teams to the other people that I have spoken to in the next few days. Mr. Gonzo, any sort of parting comments for the community?
All good. It's been a little bit difficult the last 2 weeks because of, like the drastic changes, right? And then today you throw on the price action, right? So it gets really easy to kind of get down and get a bit worried, right? But everybody the last 2 weeks has done a lot. Like everybody's, there's been lots of discussions on how to get better, people putting the time in, learning what they need to get better at PvP, because a lot of people weren't doing that, but you can see the effort, right? And then you can, like I have the opportunity where you can improve their team. And then they, like 2 days later, you see it go, bam. It's like, it's really reassuring, So if we all work together, you work hard and we provide you guys with good assets, like it's all going to be fine, So it's just a bit of restructuring, the game is evolving, the game is getting better, the players are getting better, there's more players, right? So we just have to work a bit harder and it takes a bit of time, but as long as people are willing to put the time in and help improve, then it's all going to get better. So
now, just quickly, guys, make sure you hit the like button here, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell button for notifications. The more viewers we get of this channel, it just helps us bring in new sponsors, new opportunities, new games for you. So we all need to work a little bit together here, people. So make sure, if you haven't already, hit that like button, tell your friends about this channel, share the content around. It really does enable us to bring you more offers. Baloo, final thoughts from you, sir?
I think, if you're trading, be apprehensive out there. It's kind of choppy. It's popcorn season. Be careful. Don't FOMO into the small caps just yet. And apart from that, to the scholars and anybody who is interacting with DeFi, if you know how to use a bridge, you've got a very valuable skill. So I'll just say, know that you have skills. Yep,
absolutely. Baloo, as always, thank you very much for your time. Did you want to jump on our show tomorrow and we can talk some Audius, some fundamentals?
Yeah, I would love to talk to Jesse about it. We can touch on the TA. Cool. We can compare notes. I think that'd be good.
Excellent. So in the summary, community, we'll have our show with Leanne, Jesse, and special guest Baloo tomorrow. Friday, we will be posting the full interview with Jiho from Axie, and after that, we'll have our live show at the same time. So we look forward to seeing many of you there. Look, I continue to breed. We continue to support you. You're a wonderful community. We've got lots of other opportunities coming up. Nine Chronicles. We're looking at other games, talking to other potential sponsors of the channel. We're here to help, and we really appreciate your support. Baloo, Mr. Gonzo, thank you very much for joining us today, and most importantly, to you, the community. Lots of love.